As humans, we've been quite successful in space, building the space station and occupying it for many decades. We've built structures that landed on the moon. The question is, can we have long-term humans on the moon or eventually in Mars? Hi, Nord Anglia. I'm Skylar Tibbits. I'm a professor here at MIT in the Department of Architecture. I teach a class called Space Architecture, and we have designers and engineers coming together, both on the faculty level and the student level, to dream up the future of space architecture.
Professor Tibbits, students work together to tackle big questions like how to build in low gravity or in extreme temperatures.
Some of the biggest challenges in space is how do you get materials there? So you need to have very light, small payloads to launch the materials in space. Second, how do you build? Once you have those materials, it's a really harsh environment. We need materials that are smarter, that potentially help us in the building process.
They think smarter using ideas like self-assembly or structures that can build themselves.
As we push the boundaries further and further away from Earth to low Earth orbit, to lunar, to even Mars, we need to think about what are the environments around us and how do we design and build architecture that adapts to those environments to keep us safe, to keep us happy, healthy. And the hope is that by doing that, we can then learn and translate that back to the extreme environments here on Earth.
Or designing for the extreme environments of exoplanet.
Okay, Nord Anglia, here's your challenge. Design a structure like a shelter or a building or even some geometry and have it adapt or transform to its environment around it. Now try to dream up what kind of adaptations do you think would be most useful on Mars, in space, in the desert, or even underwater?
We have to imagine challenges we might face when designing for different exoplanet environments,
like extreme cold, or high gravity,
or dim sunlight,
or intense sun exposure in space.
In my lab, we develop materials that transform based on different environments. So we have a shading system. It's basically like stickers for buildings, and it opens and closes with sunlight. And so that creates an active shading to control the temperature, to control glare in a building. We make these materials for different applications, but all of it is about how does it adapt? How does it respond to the environment around us?
The best way to tackle these challenges is by working together. Professor Tibbits' class brings together designers, engineers, architects, and scientists.
Looking to do here at MIT is educate the future space architects. Have an entire field of designers, creators, engineers who dream about how we build, how we live in space. And they're the ones at the forefront of creating those dreams and testing those realities. And so we want the MIT students and people around the world to join us and dream that up and push the space frontier forward. Good luck, Nord Anglia. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with.
In STEM, we've been learning what is needed to survive for long periods of time in space.
We've also been studying the conditions a planet needs to be considered habitable.
We researched and chose an exoplanet and a habitable zone with unique conditions,
and design our space habitats around it.
We used Tinkercad to develop architectural designs like real architects do. Then we created habitat prototypes.
We placed them into simulations to imagine what life could look like on a distant planet.
We worked together, splitting jobs and combining our talents to create a virtual space architectures for our environment.
Each of us contributed to every part of the design process. Even though we don't truly know what it will be like to live on these planets.
Space architecture and exploration always began in our imagination.